first things first, we want to go over how the price has been performing. As you can see, from the very top to where we are currently, we are down 56%. Is this the bottom? I have no idea. I'm not worried about short-term price action. All I care about is the long-term thesis. I care about when the thesis plays out or when the thesis is invalidated. And so far, I think things are looking really good. If you guys do not have an entry, this is your chance, and this might be your final chance. With Q4 approaching, Q4 will be very likely bullish for all of crypto in general and abstract as well. So this might be your last chance to get an ABSTER. Either way, let's get into anything that has changed. Lots of bottom signals. A lot of people are FUDing abstract. What happens when people FUD abstract and people leave the chain? They sell ABSTER. Why? Because ABSTER is the best bet on the chain. As you can see, when abstract cooks, ABSTER goes up. And when abstract is in a slow period, ABSTER will go down. And that's always going to happen. As you can see with Toshi, a great example, it ran to 250 mil. I actually think it was higher. This is only one liquidity pool. But either way, it cooked. It dropped a ton. How much is this retracement? From 250 mil all the way down to 30 mil. An almost 90% retracement, okay? And then it ended up cooking. When did it cook? Well, in Q4, or actually it was Q1. Q4 and Q1 are typically the most bullish times in the crypto market. This is when we get crazy pumps, as you saw with Toshi. In Q1, it ran from 55 mil all the way up to 900 million market cap, okay? And now it's sitting at a 350 mil market cap. It's very common for meme coins to have very large retracements and then come back, assuming the meme coin is a strong meme coin. Now, ABSTER is the official mascot of Abstract. ABSTER is the best narrative on Abstract, and therefore it is the best bet on Abstract if you want exposure to the chain. A lot of people have been saying, oh, Luca and Abstract, they haven't been cooking as much as they were. And to that, I would say I kind of agree. But the question is why? Well, let's listen to this.
You mentioned Igloo. There's Igloo, there's Pudgy Penguins, there's Abstract.
There's one more nobody knows about.
Okay, so there's another company that Igloo acquired. You might be asking, how is this relevant? Well, this is relevant because in an inner Igloo, someone asked, when will you reveal this information? And he said that he's saving it for Q4. He thinks that the market will be bullish in Q4, as it always is. And because of that, he is saving not only this announcement, but a bunch of other announcements that are bigger than any other announcement that Pudgy Penguins has ever made. And he's saving it for Q4. So the question is, if he's doing that for Pudgy Penguins, why wouldn't he do that for Abstract as well? I would be surprised if there aren't many bullish announcements coming for Abstract that they are waiting for Q4 to announce. And so we are heading into Q4 very soon. And when Q4 happens, I think they will start rolling out these updates and we will be mega bullish again. What happens when Abstract has a bunch of bullish announcements? Well, ABSTER will go up, as we've seen many times before. ABSTER is the best bet on the chain. So when they start announcing all of these bullish factors, maybe they even bring out the V2 of the portal, maybe they start marketing the chain, maybe they do a TGE, anything that's bullish will cause the price of ABSTER to go up. And just so you're aware, these are the stats for Bitcoin in Q4. Obviously, Bitcoin leads the market in general, the crypto market in general. So typically when Bitcoin's up for the month, the rest of the market is up for the month. So in Q4, it has very, very good returns. Q1 is also kind of good. It has a couple monster months and then some that are like kind of negative or up only a bit, of course. But the main point is in Q4, these stats are absolutely insane. Like if you actually look at this from a general asset perspective, Bitcoin goes crazy in Q4. And generally, the crypto market follows. So mix all of Luca's bullish announcements for Pudgy Penguins, Pengu, and Abstract with a bullish crypto market in general, we could see some massive pumps on these charts. Another thing supporting a bullish Q4 are rate cuts. So for any of you that don't know, rate cuts are typically bullish, but they are mainly bullish when the economy is actually still strong. If they are cutting rates because there's an emergency situation, then they're not that bullish. But you could compare our current situation in the economy to 1995, where they used rate cuts as a soft landing, which led to SPY running 34% the next year. And you could compare as well to 2019, before COVID happened. They actually cut rates in a similar situation as well, which also led to SPY running. So I think we are heading into a very bullish time in the market because these rate cuts are in a good economy. Speaking of Q4, we have a couple really big projects that are launching on Abstract that I think will be in Q4. Aborian Finance, they're trying to be the aerodrome of Abstract, the liquidity layer of Abstract. And this is really bullish if they get things right. I'm not saying they will get things right, but I am saying they have the potential to. And if they do get things right, that will be massively bullish for ABSTER. Okay? So they just had an audit completed. That basically means that all the code has already been created and now they're just making sure everything is safe, doing some extra checks and fine-tuning everything. But everything should be perfectly fine. They should be ready to launch relatively soon. Typically, these companies go through a couple audits, so we might have to wait a bit longer. But the point is, if this Aborian Finance is actually massive, and if it actually does what it's trying to do and be the liquidity layer of Abstract, it will bring liquidity onto Abstract, and therefore ABSTER will benefit from it. Because ABSTER benefits from liquidity coming on Abstract in general. So just keep that in mind. If this cooks, then this could be a very good benefit to the chain. And it might take some time, but we could see this have a really big impact if they do things right. Luca in an Inner Igloo also mentioned that one of the problems with centralized exchange listings for abstract meme coins was the fact that a lot of these exchanges did not actually support Abstract yet. But about a week ago, we saw that Binance US started accepting deposits of ETH on Abstract, so they're supporting Abstract now. And I think this definitely increases the probabilities that ABSTER gets a listing. And if you want to look at any token on Abstract that could get a listing, ABSTER is the top candidate for that, just because of its market cap and because of its established self. So keeping that in mind, I think we'll see some other exchanges as well start supporting Abstract. And as that happens, I would expect to see some centralized exchange listings. This is what Luca said. He said some centralized exchange listings would come, and he said we were waiting for them to support Abstract. So I'm really hoping that ABSTER does get some of these listings soon, but obviously it's a bit up in the air. We'll have to just wait and see for announcements. But I'm very bullish on it. I still think it will happen eventually. It might take some time. And that happens a lot in the market. You know, people say it's not timing the market, it's time in the market. And that's very true. What you need is patience. You have your thesis. You understand ABSTER is the #1 meme coin. You understand Luca wants and needs Abstract to absolutely cook so that he can make a ton of money from it and he could generate a bunch of revenue for Igloo Inc., right? He's going to cook and ABSTER is going to cook with it. And you need the patience so that you are there when it happens. When they cook, you don't want to be sitting out. A lot of these massive moves to the upside happen very, very quickly. And if you are underexposed during this massive pump, for example, or this massive pump, you just missed out on the majority of the returns of the ABSTER chart. So be patient. Yes, it is always a long hold. It is always unfortunate that you don't just get money right away. But if you wait long enough and you understand the thesis and you play it right, ABSTER will cook and you can make a ton of money from it. Now, in a week, there is Singapore token 2049, which is, in my opinion, typically bullish for ABSTER. As you can see here, where was it on the chart? It was April 30th, approximately. Token 2049 Dubai happened. And when that happened, ABSTER was put everywhere. And because ABSTER was everywhere, a lot more people understood the ABSTER thesis. On top of that, the Abstract team was able to talk to the community and see what the community wanted. And once the event ended, they were able to cook. They were able to cook on the chain. They were able to ship some massive updates and bring a bunch of hype to the chain. So I think once Singapore token 2049 ends, I think that Abstract will be ready to cook. And I think we will see a massively bullish Q4, as I already mentioned. So yes, we have to wait some time. But with a bullish market in general, with a lot of announcements coming for Pengu and Pudgy Penguins, and very likely a bunch of announcements for Abstract, along with a lot of very big projects that are going to be coming, I think we could see a really bullish Q4 and Q1. And if you are not exposed to ABSTER, then you should definitely get exposure. I mean, if you look at all of these meme coins here, they were all kind of flavor of the month meme coins. And when you look at the meme coins that ran previously, like, I don't know if any of you remember in the early days, Chengu, Cope, Mop, Yup, Chester, all of these other coins, they ran very hard. And people were like, oh, let's wait for abstract season to happen. And when abstract season happens, they'll go up again. But then we did get a mini abstract season, and none of those coins ran. So that begs the question, how many of these coins here are going to be the same? How many of these coins won't come back? Well, I would say the majority won't come back. I would really like to see a couple of them come back, but you don't know what's going to happen, and it's tough to predict. But one thing that we do know is that ever since the chain launched, ABSTER has been an outperformer, and ABSTER has performed the best compared to any other meme coin. And even during this downtrend, you look at other meme coins, the majority of other meme coins on Abstract are actually down more than 60% from their all-time high. So ABSTER is actually holding up pretty well in this downtrend. I'm not saying we can't go lower, because I don't know what's going to happen in the short term. I mean, we could have a whale that wants to sell, and if he sells, then the chart goes down, and that's how it is. But I understand the long-term thesis, and I am willing to hold through some short-term volatility for an eventual very bullish Q4, and Abstract is going to cook. I have so much confidence that Luca is not just going to let this chain die. I mean, why would he? They've already spent so much money making this chain work, and they're going to continue to try their best to make it cook. It might take some time, but I think Q4 is going to be very, very bullish, and you do not want to miss it. I think a couple $100 million is very, very likely. I think $1 billion could be in sight depending on the situation. I think if Abstract ends up cooking very nicely, starts competing with Base, starts marketing the chain, and then they do a TGE, I think $1 billion is possible for ABSTER. It's very far away, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Hundreds of millions, great target for now. 500 million, probably going to happen, but we just got to wait and see. So I just finished recording and Saigar created this tweet, starting a new phase of Abstract going forward, frequent shipping, improved chain performance, large partnerships / collabs, more transparency, working closely with the community. We will be the people's consumer chain. So this is pretty aligned with my thoughts. I think Q4 is going to be massively bullish. I think it's a mistake to not bet on ABSTER for the rest of the year. Let's wait and see what happens, but I am super bullish going into Q4.